Okay, we did it. We found a 99 that I don't totally hate. All right, we're here with Galadriel, the Lothlórien 3-mana 3/3. When the ring tempts you, choose a creature that isn't this. Scry 3. Whenever you scry, reveal a top card. If it's a land, put it onto the battlefield. So it's kind of like Nadu, but just worse in every way. But not that is not saying much because Nadu is cracked in half. I don't really care about the tempting cards. There's actually not many in the game to start with, like at all. And a lot of them to me are just really not great. This one's okay, I guess. Tempting the ring is doubly worse when your commander's not in play, right? You're not always going to have this just sitting there every time you tempt the one ring anyways, so this won't see every time you tempt the ring when it's not in play. So I really don't like the tempt cards. So I'm kind of not in on that. In the scry side, I have a fair amount of things. What I really like is the cards that scry kind of stick around for at least a good while, right? And that's nice. Like these are lands and stuff. So the scrying side of things, there's not a ton of it in here, but they are kind of the worst things you're doing in your blue-green deck, even though your commander cares about those things. It's just not great. Especially how you're not guaranteed to hit a land with this. So just because you did the thing doesn't mean you do anything. So it's got some issues to it. But, you know, not every commander is insane. Is this better than the other Albert Wesker that we were playing the other day? I don't know. It plays similar cards, but, you know, some of them are actually different. There's definitely a landfall package when you care about playing more than one land a turn. Unlike the Albert Wesker, this can continuously do it. So if you have anything that cares about lands entering, then, you know, this is really nice. So you got your green typical landfall package. What I do like is this deck is kind of a 1-2-3 curve out heavy style thing, and there's not a giant nonsensical top end. So that is appealing. I mean, this card, everyone's saying I shouldn't run it in chat, and half of them like it. I'm just emotionally invested currently in this, and I'm just willing to play it. I like it a lot. So I'm going to keep it in there. There's this, which is okay. It's the same set, and they pretty much just want you to play this in your this thing deck. So it's going to be in here. I'm not terribly excited about either thing that this does, but you know what? It's in there. It's a card you don't really play ever. There's enough to scry for this card to be interesting. We do also have Hedge Maze as a fetchable surveil, so at the worst, you can probably find a way to get your surveil land when you play this, so it like at least replaced itself. But it could also just be a scry spell for our commander. But I don't know. It's worth thinking about. You know, this is, I think, brand new. So I was looking at the set on a website, seeing like what's gonna be the degenerate 1-mana green card. I didn't see the special guest cards. This is in the game now, so if you weren't aware it was in the game, it is. This is insane. It's just another one of the 1-mana green cards. That's crazy. There's some games where you play it on turn 1 and it doesn't do anything, and there's other games you play on turn 1 and it won the game on its own, right? This is just better than land tax. If you like land tax, you... this is insane. They play really nicely with each other too, to be honest with you. If ever you were not about land tax, here is a reason to now play land tax in your green-white decks. So that's insane. And this, I love this card so much. I don't think we have Crystal Ball, right? Let me quadruple check that. We don't have Crystal Ball, right? No. Okay. Crystal Ball is like one of my favorite colorless cards. I'm just a big fan of that card. And this is just Crystal Ball, except you don't have to spend any mana on it, and I like it. It works excellent with the commander. Same with this one. A little bit less exciting, I will admit, but it's got a somewhat relevant -8 to it, which I do like. You can just suddenly expropriate, right? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool. Actually, you know what? You can't do that immediately because when you ultimate this, you lose your planeswalker. So you need either another one in play or something, right? As far as I'm to understand. Yeah, so it is exceptionally slow to get to that point. But hey, it's a Scry engine, and we're all about that with a commander like this. So yeah, let's see what happens. We have green Geralf. Wow, cool. That's another commander I do want to play. I like this card a lot. I don't know if I've beaten it, oddly enough. I don't know. Alright, I'm going to crack in response so they can't stifle me. Okay, not quite what I expected. Like, at all. But, you know, that's cool. This is a mono blue deck. Lotus Cobra is unyieldingly annoying, I'm sure. I don't think I'm going to try to mana drain next turn. Okay, well if my opponent doesn't do anything, then... Does that change anything? It does, yeah. Right? Yeah. I'm going to bounce the agent once my opponent figures out they still have priority. Okay, they figured it out. Boop. Oh, hello. Okay, let's play our commander. Mainly bouncing it so they can't activate it, also leave up a counterspell. Another fetch land. Interesting. Opponent is actually going to discard at 3 mana. They had 2 things we knew they could cast, so I really have no idea what's next here. I'm quite curious. If you counter this, I do not care. Okay. Yeah, we're not going to get into trouble and try to do something about that. Cavern of Souls is good. No? Oof. No creature. That's okay, though. Cavern of Souls is good. Huh, this is actually kind of weird. Like that. Just take the tap land, scry on top. Kind of ugly, but it works for me. Decline. This is the land for the turn. Cast Uro. Okay. Yeah, this works out. I like this. Yeah, this sets up a safe commander next turn. Yeah, we like this. Okay. They have stopped me from scrying and triggering my commander. They have done the wow, they're playing Days Undoing. Oh, alright. You got it. Alright, there's the Brainstorm. All the fetch lands making sense now. I've never seen this before. That's kind of crazy. Is that like D&D First Edition? Oh, it looks like it. You could convince me. Okay, again, doing nothing. Name Elf here. Oh, opponent! Cavern of Souls too good! Oh no! I don't know if we're getting to tooth and nail with a hand like this, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible. Do I cast Halfling? Or do I cast this? I think I'm going to go where... We're going to go with the Halfling. Yeah, we're going to go with the Halfling here. Oh yeah, you're going to run out of gas if you're playing like bad Scry cards. You're just gonna run out of gas. You're just gonna run out of gas. Is there any way to... No, there's not. Nope. Alright. I'm just gonna throw it into play. Ow. Definitely feels like a now or never situation. Okay, they don't have it. Am I casting my commander again? I don't think so. Well, that's a land. It's a legendary, though. Yeah, it's a legendary land. Okay. Alright, well, it's another game where my opponent untaps with VV, so maybe whatever we do doesn't matter in the long run, but we'll see. I can technically blitz to tooth and nail. This is difficult to interact with as well. Like what I'm doing, I mean. But it is VV, so we'll see. Yeah, we could just drop Nadu for some of the Bristly Bill effects. You know, maybe I took out the wrong one. I don't know. It's hard. Could run none of them and just run something else like that mythic 5-drop thing I can't think of. Opponent, you're in like the most ideal situation. You untapped with VV. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Alright, maybe they were thinking. Maybe there's like some line they're mapping out or something. Oh boy, can't wait for this to happen. This sure is exciting. Not quite what I expected, but that is what my opponent did, I guess. What do you know? You untap with VV, you win the game. Surprising. So I have to crack the fetch lands, so I have to block. Hedge Maze. A land is fine. Can I still do anything? Do I win? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Crater Hoof. I don't think I have another threat in my deck that swings. Do I? Wait, no, they're just dead to Crater Hoof, though. Right? +4/+4, 12. Why am I thinking about this? Oh, I can also just send a message while I'm at it, too. Okay, I can just kill VV. Well, My opponent almost got there, but they didn't get there, so. But, like we said, just like the other game, when your opponent just untaps with VV, the game is essentially over. I had no answer to it. They were just one off. Kind of an awkward hand. That's kind of what we're looking for, though. His name Blue. Lightning Bolt? Nope. Lightning Bolt? Oh, maybe. Lightning Bolt? Nope. Still can't tell. Okay, in order for our commander to do something, I will play this first. Come on, cast it again, please. Come on. Dang it. Sure. Alright, so we play this. Because of that draw, I think I will play my land untapped. Reveal a creature like this. Okay. We're doing things. Look at that. We did it. We're winning. It's a land. Sure. Oh wait, doesn't that just trigger itself? Oh, we're cheating. Oh my goodness, we're cheating. We just like broke the bank. If this misses a land, I'm going to be really sad, so I should just actually invest in the card. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that, yeah, Temple finding a land. Finding Temple into another land is gross. Cash Money Thuggin'. Alright. Have a turn 1 play into a turn other thing play and stuff, so. Oh, I love Molt Tender. It's funny how often I don't see this, or how often, like I just never see people play this. In fact, I think my opponent literally just read it. I think they just sat there and read what Molt Tender did. Okay, another game that maybe Cavern of Souls is an incredibly, like, deciding factor of how it pans out. When it gets rid of that thing, sure. Well, that wins the game, so let's not lose to it. Let's swing 3. Do I cast this? No, there's no way. There's no way. Up the beanstalk. Okay, sure. I wonder if we can play that. We're close to being able to. I mean, we're close. I like my whole hand, so I just don't do anything here. Let's cast you. Sure. We could also run delve cards. We have been flooding our graveyard with like random nonsense. I'm gonna get breeding pool here, yeah. I'm going to recast my commander, even though it doesn't do anything. Maybe I just don't do that. Craterhoof is interesting. Like that. Play you. Play you. Scry away the Hedron. And I can bounce my opponent's commander. I could just Cyclonic Rift next turn as well. I don't even think their commander's doing that much. Actually, it really isn't doing anything at all. Cyclonic Rifting is kind of awkward. Well, it's not a land, so... One, two, four, five, six, seven, eight. So I don't need this. Alright, we have a situation, and it's a thing. With the old blind, the blind flip there. So 19? Do we have 19 points of power? Oh, this is tapped. Oh. It's tapped. I have to think. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Plus, it's lethal. It's lethal. Chat, I don't have to think. Craterhoof is literally, you're not allowed to think. You just cast it and win. Hey, I have a land for my troubles as well. Yeah. Nice. I don't quite have the hand for this, but we'll see what happens. If it just chills in play, it feels good, I guess. I think I'll play Florahedron as my 2-drop. I'm not super stoked about sacking it to Flare. I don't think I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. If I didn't have a land, I probably would. Ashen Rider? Jeez. Well, we could have just lost to Reanimate right there, so... suppose we should be thankful that didn't happen. Ashen Rider. Jeez. I already have that land. This is Breeding Pool. Yeah, now we're gonna do this. I'm gonna just fetch now. This is anything, right? Yeah, this actually gets rid of lands. So, I don't have a good answer to that, currently. It's possible to find one, though. This is probably the I win come turn 5 situation. Because that's when all the reanimate spells show up. Get rid of you and you. Does that let me Uro? It does. Again, it gets exiled to Ashen Rider, but, I mean, it's in play. I did cast it. That is what we did. Rivendell, untapped. Nice. If they don't have a 4-mana one, we can do something. Okay, it looks like they don't. I will counter this. Really? Just like that? You didn't realize Braille's an artifact? That's funny. Actually, I can see that. I can see that, yeah. You just cast a reanimate spell. I'm sure you have a ton of them, and just one of them has... I don't have an answer to the next one. It's just nuts. Yeah, removed Run Island. No, but we got flooded after that, though. That was like an hour ago. That was like an hour ago. Okay. Take 2. I mean, randomness is randomness. It just feels funny that it always lines up that it's like as unfavorable as humanly possible. Let's get rid of Breeding Pool. Yeah. That was certainly one of the better draws, I would argue. Forest. It's just getting unlucky. That's all it is. Like, when you're mana flooded, rip. When you're mana screwed, rip. That's what it is. It just feels atrocious when you have, like, the burgeoning in the game where, like, it's great if you draw lands. But, you know. You don't draw lands. What are we up against? Gonti? Okay. Oh, this is also happening. Every time I have, like, the funny card I haven't cast before, poof. Nothing is lined up today. Nothing is lined up. Really not well at all. It's not... on the bright side, I can recognize that it's not the deck's fault. Nothing is lined up, like, at all. Fatal Push doesn't cut it here. Yeah, no, so we're gonna just send this. You... Well, I'd like to play that first, but can't have everything. Palantir is excellent. Oh, we have the combo. Look at it. We did it. The combo was real. Land and land. Still kind of lame that this is where it is in my hand, but that's fine. Can't have everything. Yeah, it's weird. We have games where, like, 3 games in a row it looks awful, and then the next game we do this, and we're like, yay! Okay. No attack here. I mean, it wasn't Fatal Push? Village Rites? Okay, it is Village Rites. Could have also been Dark Ritual. Wasn't paying that much attention. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I don't quite have Summon Danger Noodles. This steals Palantir, right? Oh no, it can't because I mill it. That's funny. That's really funny. Okay. Well, no Palantir for you. This gives me the out to draw. Oh no, never mind. It stacks the way they want it to. Okay, they can go back to stealing this. I don't know if they did, but they could have. Alright, looks like we got there. Because they manipulated the top of my deck. So now they must kill that. Bask in its violence. Uh-huh. Okay. Hey, we did it! Which is funny because this actually can die and then... Are they dead before this goes away? Let's see, they take 12. Then next turn it sticks around and I draw 2. Yeah, alright. It would have killed them. They had to find an answer. The fact that they conceded here makes me think there's no board wipes or anything, which is a bit odd. They have plenty of removal. I feel like it's worth... It's another game I think it's worth just drawing a card to see if you're back in it. All you have to do is draw out of this, right? A single Doomblade effect and you're right back in it. I don't have any cards in my hand. You know, this isn't really doing anything. Food tokens are alright. Treasure tokens, I guess, are decent. I have a Scry engine with the commander, but just see what you draw at least. I mean, I would. Alright, so this commander is kind of interesting, right? Like, when it's in play and you're scrying, there's a fair amount of times that you can hit lands. I will say, there were a ton of games people just decided to kill my commander where it otherwise was not actually doing anything. That isn't to say I won because of that. I'd still just lose, right? Removal's removal. Just casting if you have nothing else to do, fine, whatever. But there were plenty of times it died where there was nothing it was doing. Like, nothing. Same with the Albert Wesker, right? You play it, you get your land, and then everyone just decides that it's really scary and they have to kill it. This is definitely more intimidating than Albert Wesker was, but still, you do need a Scry card or a Ring Tempting card to have it have a text box. There isn't exactly a ton of cards that fit that criteria. I was playing what I felt was the best of those things. I ended up adding more Tempt Ring cards just to have the option. But that didn't really help that much. Again, same with the Scry. I ended up taking out a couple of the Scry cards because, man, they, like, just really want it to be something more significant to me, in my opinion. Now, this is fine. It's fine. It's just, I would kind of rather have a lot of other things before Opt. And I don't know. This is the one main one where you could probably just get away with it all the time. It's just like, it's not a good sign to me that I felt like I wanted anything that wasn't that. Fading Hope was questionable. All of the Scry ones are weird because if it is a land, yeah, you can keep it on top. But if it isn't a land, you put this in the bottom. You're just gambling for a land on the top, right? Whereas if it's Scry 2 or Scry 3 or more, then it's pretty easy to just have a land on top to do it guarantee. But you're not really banking on that anyways, right? Obviously, when you tempt the One Ring, you just get a Scry 3, which is really nice for this. But still, you're tempting the ring. That's another thing. Literally tempting... Where is it? Yeah, here. Tempting the ring itself. The 4 abilities of the ring are not really good. You attack and you draw and discard sometimes with a pesky 1/1, like your Mana Dork, ideally. Your Arboreal Grazer or whatever. It gets in there and you're looting, and then you're making your opponent sack whatever blocked, I guess, and then you can make them lose 3 life if you bopped them with your, like, 1/1 or something. None of this is really exciting. Fortunately, the draw discard is early, so it's not like the bottom one. That is sort of the best of the bunch. You just tempt twice. It is a singleton 100 card format that doesn't have black, so there's no Nazguls. That would help tremendously. I would actually play the Nazguls. Now, this character probably wants nothing to do with the Nazguls, right? It wouldn't make a lot of sense if it was, you know, black. But if it was black, we would have Nazguls. That would be nice. There were a lot of games, or a fair chunk of them, in the middle there, where we kind of just got mana flooded, and then we got mana screwed, and then mana flooded, and mana screwed. Like, it just happened. It also happened the past 3 or 4 days. It feels like it's been popping up more. I really haven't changed the amount of lands I play. In fact, I've kind of ticked up my average count of lands I play. I mean, MDFCs help with this anyways. So, like, the scrying... The green is good. The green is great. The Scry tech was much better in Matoya, right? drawing a card is really good, but you do lose green. If this hit a land every single time, I would like this more than Matoya, because the thing you draw is immediately played and could have extreme levels of value, but that's not the case. And there's another thing I think, right? You reveal the card. That's not free. Your opponent now just knows this random thing is on the top of your deck, and that matters. Information is power. If you don't put a land in play, your opponent knows what you're about to draw. You know? Maybe they were going to Gonti you, but they see the top of your deck is terrible. You know, it has a fading hope on it. Like, just pass the turn. You know, they're not going to let me exile through. Actually, I think that did just happen. Now, my opponent didn't know what the card was. They didn't know. But they did give me a land off the top because they randomly exiled the top of my deck. Where if they did know the card because of this, maybe they didn't do that. Maybe they went a different line. Who knows? I was feeling, because I was, like, when we were playing a bunch of lands, I felt like I wasn't doing enough with all the mana, so I did actually add some, like, funny X spells to kind of have more to do when I'm playing a bunch of mana. But that didn't help when every time I went for, this is another thing that's kind of funny, every time I had a big spell the next turn, like, alright, got my mana, I'm doing my thing, pass the turn, my opponent casts, like, Duress or Thoughtseize, which just happened a bunch, and we just lost the big payoff for playing lands, right? I mean, all this does is play more lands. It has a bunch of text on it, but all it's doing at the end of the day is trying to get more lands to play. That's what it's doing. It's not doing anything else. So, yeah, without a payoff for all the mana, it felt kind of So maybe you could bring back in the landfall 1/1 counter cards. I just didn't. What were they? Landfall counter? There's 4. Yeah, like these main 4 here, and maybe even this thing. This is not really a great thing to play in turn 1, but that might not matter. Even this actually would have helped in some games. This is so slow, but the games where I just drew 4 lands in a row, well, guess what? You know, now we're maybe doing something else. I'm drawing 2 lands in a row because I just drew the others with. I'm still drawing 4 lands in a row, just faster. But maybe these 4 could come back in. I don't know how much I care about this. It felt like one of the things I was least sold on was just like these 4 cards. But if this is the line you want to go, knock yourself out. I mean, the problem with this is you have to make room for it, and the less scry ring tempting you're doing, ring tempting and scrying and or scrying, the less your commander does anything. You need something to ideally scry, so it has text, right? So you got to make room for those cards, but you also got to make room for things that care about all the lands you're playing. And there's a delicate balance that I'm sure we're somewhat getting towards. I mean, I wasn't totally I mean, actually, the top end was fine every time I got to it, right? It wasn't like it was bad or anything. Every time I went for it, my opponent had, like, the counter spell, the Thoughtseize, or I was passing the turn, and little did I know I was not going to get another turn because they were going to combo off or explode with a VV, or Rowan, or the other thing that we saw. Like, there was just, it didn't line up too well. So, but these 4 cards are certainly an option or a line to go. I mean, in this, I guess, by extension, like maybe these 5 cards could come in here for something. But yeah, keep in mind, you got to keep the scry cards to a degree. Another line is, I found what I was going to say. This card should probably be in here. Now, it is very mana intensive, right? I was thinking about Gretchen for, like, kind of a similar reason. The benefit of this card is you do not need your commander in play, right? But this card is kind of the same, right? You scry. If it's a land, you just put it into play. You also don't necessarily need your commander in play for this to matter. I like this. If your commander is in play, this kind of just goes a little crazy, assuming you have 4 mana to repeatedly invest in this. It's not just free. You have to do that, and that is essentially probably the only thing you did, because it's not really ideally the first thing to do. If you have cards in your hand that you want to cast, doing this is not the top. It's like closer to just being a mana sink when you're looking for something to do or you have excess mana. But whoops, leave it to me to click the wrong card. It is something to do, and it's just a good card with the commander. So if you have it, go for it. It is a mythic, though. I don't own it, obviously. I would have given it a shot there. I don't know how right this card is specifically. I think I did like this more than Jin-Gitaxias. That did come out a while ago. It wasn't. It is 7 mana, but struggled to pull off anything spicy. They didn't save me in the spell slingy deck. They're just like, alright, you have your Jin-Gitaxias, I don't care. But yeah, this is not indestructible. So, I mean, I'm just a fan of this card. I like it. I don't know anything about the lore of the character or whatever, but I just think it's cool. It's just like a colorless enchantment saga that's like a big scary thing that blows stuff up. You could probably just play Cityscape Leveler, right? It's easier to cast it twice. If it gets countered or milled or killed, you can just escape it. It costs 1 less mana, which is significant. So there's reasons to just never play this. But look, I wanted to play it, so I did. Not much to say about the ramp stuff. It's just good. It's never not going to be good until the format is completely unrecognizable. Which, who knows, maybe next set with Ancient Tomb and the other Gemstone Caverns cultivates too slow. Oh, that'd be the day. Probably not, but this is funny. Yeah, I don't know. This is cool, right? It was Elrond and it was Season of Growth. It's just when creatures enter, I scry. That's great with this. You know. But again, you're still looking for stuff to do. There was a game where I think I scried 20 cards, or it was 18 to 22 cards or something. Without any way to shuffle, so I just scribed so many cards to the bottom and just couldn't find anything to turn the game around. My opponent was, for me to scry that much, my opponent obviously is not in a winning position. They're just drawing like I am off the top. But I would chop that scenario up because I ended up looking at the deck after thinking, like, how did I not draw anything? I would just chop that situation up to getting egregiously unlucky. There are some scenarios where it's right to put the land to the bottom, because if the next card is also a land, then you're going to kind of feel bad that you got your free land, but you're drawing a card next turn and it's just a land in those like late top deck situations. And that feels bad. So it's just when you want to recognize when it is time to not need more lands for free, and you need to draw something significant. And if there are 2 lands in a row, it would be ideal to, just get the second one out of the way as well with this. If you reveal in that scenario something like a counterspell in a top deck situation, and you just have the counterspell, your opponent now knows about that counterspell. That can maybe make them concede instantly if you're both top decking, and the next thing they draw that's not a land you can counter, or something non-threatening you don't have to actually counter. The knowledge of a counterspell for your opponent is not ideal. So you can maybe just not run counterspells at all, right? I didn't necessarily struggle at casting a double blue counterspell. You could probably even just cast Archmage's Charm. Blue-green can do whatever it wants. Let's be real. So, I don't know, just interesting. Because this was an odd Lightning Rod. I don't really like Mox Amber as much. Like, yeah, there's other things that it works with, but I didn't like it as much once I started to notice that everyone was really interested in killing this, even though I had no card that scried or tempted the One Ring. So, something to take note of for the Mox truthers out there, that this might not be as good as it feels with a 3-mana commander that's blue and green, just because of that. So, that's all I have. Let me know what you thought about it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.